Just to make aware, everybody, we are recording. That way we can have it on our YouTube channel or whatever for you to access in the future. And also we'll send it out to all of you and everyone that couldn't make it because that's what we do. So that everybody has access to the information. So we're going to jump around on schedule with Lori. You gotta work on it. Gotta get you trained like our meeting. You're supposed to know everything I'm supposed to say.
Oh, I was being attention to you.
Does act like our meeting.
I'm not as good as Army.
No one can be as good as our meeting. So Lori has to dealing with something with QuickBooks on the phone right now. So she'll be joining us later. So I'm gonna skip number 1, which is about reserves. And we're gonna go to, since our lovely Marissa is the one that brought up about Yelp reviews.
Is that you or that Karen?
Oh, it was Karen.
Yeah.
Well, they were in
Karen,
Florida. They were in
Karen,
Florida in a hotel room.
Karen asked me about it. So.
Yeah. Yes. But to redress the fact that I have bad reviews from tenants on Yelp, which means I'm a good property manager. Thank you.
You mean you didn't get their whole security deposit back?
Yeah.
No, I think you're
In
supposed to get extra money, aren't you?
yeah.
Totally.
In fairness, most of the bad reviews that are on there are mostly from tenants that are mad when they move up that they didn't get their security deposit back. Generally, when the tenant is in the property, we don't really have very many or really any complaint, like Yelp review complaints about people being like, this person wasn't addressing my issues, like this sort of thing. It's mostly just about not getting their security deposit back.
We do, because actually Yelp reviews and what's the other one called?
Google
reviews, thank you. Google reviews and stuff does actually hurt hurts our business and it hurts my reputation, even for recruiting agents and property managers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did.
Sorry?
I knew that coming into it.
But
I'll make it.
no, if you're in the business, you understand it, but a lot of them don't pay attention or understand the business. Here's the thing, is we need to ask our tenants to write good reviews when they're happy with us. And it's harder to get people to write good reviews than to write bad reviews. When you're mad,
They're
you want to
motivated.
tell everybody.
It motivates you
Right.
when you're
When you're
mad.
happy, you don't want to tell anybody because you're happy.
So what can we do to get those reviews?
Ask.
First big question is, number 1, no one ever asks their clients to do it. So
Yeah.
I would appreciate if you can ask your clients. I would love, because unfortunately, another one of my members is not here today because she's dealing with a family issue. But Jeanette would love to have us have video testimonials and stuff like that, like when you're running and moving in. If you can give her any of that stuff, you see what I do. I try to promote you as much as possible. And that would help us do reels, which is a video is now better than a picture. I'm learning. So if you do a little short, and then long videos don't work, as I understand. You need to have them like 30 seconds, but also, yeah, it makes reels. She can take a long video and take chunks out of it and use it throughout the thing. So a video, she's super happy. Short videos, she's even happier. Pictures and videos and a little bit of a backstory will even make her even happier. So if you all could help me with that with property management, because we do a lot more transactions in the sense
So
of.
I think we can get lots of good reviews if we ask our owners.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, our owners.
That's not tenants, it's owners too.
And they're our customer.
Yeah,
That's true.
what's wrong?
Well,
You keep
just-
going in and out.
Well, can you hear me now?
Yes.
So this also came up. I had somebody reach out to me who wanted to buy a property. And of course, the first thing that a lot of millennials do is they check for the reviews. So I think that should be a priority because people will make a choice whether to work with Go Global Realty as a company based on one disgruntled tenant. So it's very important.
I agree.
Right, we all agreed on that part, and what Deirdre brought up was that we also should get testimonials and all that stuff from owners, which I 100% agree, everybody.
Absolutely.
Even the homeless guy comes in with his bag of change and says he wants to invest it.
Look at that baby
Michael,
growing so big.
at one point years ago, we had talked about an incentive for a tenant to actually write a good review, and I don't know if you want to readdress that option.
I'm up to everything, so as long as, but I think we should discuss it separately and then present it to the group later.
Or I mean, otherwise they're property managers, they can.
Yeah,
choose
set
to
their own incentive.
credit it
We'd
if they want.
have to have some kind of structure to make sure it doesn't break any RESPA rules or anything like that.
Well, Eric Blaine, the attorney, he did, and there's like a way to automate it
Mhm.
through your database, but he sends these little things with the, hey, we'll give you $5 Starbucks card, you take it and blah, blah, blah.
Right, we just have to make sure, again, he's an attorney and not a property manager. We have to make sure it doesn't violate our rules.
Right.
But I have no problem with it, and I think it's a great idea. And I actually had wanted it to put together, but sort of got pushed to the side because other things came up that were more dramatic, and you know how that happens. Well,
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so is that enough to cover all of that? Does everybody have any questions?
Also, as far as the Yelp reviews, isn't there a way for like if the property manager to make a response to a negative review?
Yes.
Do they have to do that?
It's on your page, you have to do it.
So we would have to do it.
Which is fine, no, and we need to do that, but here's the situation with that, and the reason, with a certain person that you're having the difficulty with.
Yeah.
is I'm having the difficulty with.
Yeah,
Is then you start in with a back and forth, because once you make it positive or you know, refer to her comment, she's gonna make more comments.
Jason gets them removed from the Yelp site.
you have to pay a lot of money from
No,
from
we don't
from
pay.
from what I had heard.
We don't pay anything and we get them removed all the time.
Well, let's have Jason. tell us how to do
Well,
that.
he'll be in tomorrow and he likes to talk to you about espresso. He can talk to you about Yelp reviews.
I mean, it's from what I had heard from other business owners, which may or may not be true. I had heard that when they have, like, Yelp contacts you about removing the negative reviews, but they charge you, like, from what I had heard, like an exorbitant amount, like every month to like suppress those. Now, maybe that's
We
not
pay
true,
nothing.
so.
But again, too, that might be to do it right away, because the negative Yelp for like a restaurant could kill the business. Where what he does is he writes out a thing saying, please remove this, do that, blah, 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 blah.
Ah,
Tell us
okay.
why, yeah.
And it takes
Oh,
30
okay.
days to get it removed.
You can get them removed for the following reasons.
Mhm.
It's not a customer on record, they're not covering a personal experience, it's plagiarized, it's disputing another review, it's on the wrong page. It's revealing personal details about an employee, or it's slanders containing profanity and hate speech, or it discusses opinions on business policies.
Yeah.
So if like they don't like how we handle the security deposit, for example, that's a business policy, you know, it's an opinion on the business policy, so you can get that removed.
That's why he's my partner.
He's a smart kid.
I know, got it somewhere, not myself.
So.
Not
Okay.
gonna touch that, you're opening too many doors for me there. All right, you put on there about NARPM call to action about evictions,
Those are mean.
Yes, that's
Sorry?
Andy
Andy,
Andy,
Stevenson.
which is not mine on my thing, so do you wanna pick that
Is our
particular
video
thing?
out there?
Huh?
her video is just off.
So they're trying to railroad through some policies. Oh, can you hear me?
Thank you, that's much better.
All right, I can actually, if you want to go out of order, I have the email and I can read it to you. I just
Where are we going out of
find it.
order?
She means circle back to him.
Back to it. Well, I'll
Oh,
read
okay.
you the actual call to action rather than.
Okay, that's fine.
Come back to that, so that's number 1 and number 3 we're going back to. Separating security deposit and first month's rent when receiving them.
So that was something that I had written down.
Right.
So basically, as I'm sure you guys all should know, security deposit and rent deposits or rent payments go into 2 separate accounts. So therefore, it is generally a company policy that when the tenants are bringing in their first month's rent and their security deposit, they are supposed to be separated into 2 separate amounts because they go into 2 separate accounts.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to happen that way. It can all go into the security deposit account because it's all the tenant's money at that point. at which point the security deposit account pays it over to the owner for whom it is supposed to be paid.
But it's just easier if it's the other way, doesn't it?
I just do a holding account, put it all in there and separate it. No.
Hmm.
But I don't care. You know, but the fact of the matter is, it doesn't have to be two separate checks.
Right.
So if we got one check,
But I mean,
and this is from the division, it goes into the security deposit account because it is tenant's money when he
Right.
brings it in. At which point then it's separated out and paid to the owner.
Mhm.
So are we talking about collecting security deposits on FOU? Shouldn't do that. Security deposits. need to
Yeah,
be
because they're
valid.
not certified funds on that folio.
And when the tenant, this is a company policy, when the tenants are moving into the property, like before they've actually moved in. When you're collecting that security deposit and that first month's rent, that it has to be certified funds, cashier's check
say that again?
or money order, has to be certified funds. We're not taking personal checks. No.
What about Zelle?
No, those.
Sells maximum of $2,000 per day.
Actually,
But even still, that's nowadays hardly
It's
enough.
just
so my question is, it is not certified funds. Okay,
Yeah, and you can't pull back sale though.
that's what I'm saying, so I'm like, sorry,
I think that was an accident.
oh, okay.
Um,
I'm saying, I'm in a quandary because it's not considered the same as a cashier's check or ACH.
I mean, to me, it's the same as certified funds because you can't sell money that's not in your account.
True.
My
And you
first,
can't pull it, they can't pull it back like they do in other instances.
Yeah.
my first rent was, did it on Zoom and it's in Pennsylvania, and it did create an issue. I remember that it was.
That being said, though, in order for them to do the Zelle, they would have to Zelle it to the global account, right? But
Which is not
we don't want that at this point, right?
correct, because it's not going into the right account.
Well, and Zelle transfers can be disputed. So.
I've never been successful. I tried to dispute one on behalf of a client, tried to help her dispute one, and we got nowhere.
So we want cashier's checks, money orders, you want them then FedEx to the office.
Yeah. Yeah, overnight FedEx.
More,
Well, for that. Okay, so no Zelle. Okay. That sucks.
Zelle could be used for a holding deposit. You know, when they're doing the holding, because that's not considered security or rent.
I don't do a holding deposit, I can pay the whole security deposit.
By the way,
Do I
someone
care?
thought that I created
No.
that policy and I didn't.
I have other people besides you that do things differently, like me.
I had assumed that it was your guys's because it had talked about the little
Well, yeah, we added.
air filter thing.
We added
that,
stuff.
But I.
Yeah, but you guys added to.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they heard all the deposits are.
Yeah.
So how do we handle that? Is everything just the website wide?
I don't know anything about that as far as like, if an individual, like because it all folds into one link where people go to apply online. I'm not sure if it can be set up where like it recognizes your, like, this is your guys' properties and this is what your guys' like application fee is, this is what your like holding fee, all of that sort of stuff.
So whatever you set up the property has the application fee attached to it in that folio. So you can change it on that in that regard, but when it comes to the information on.
But that checklist, when they go
that
before they
checklist,
apply,
before they
that
apply,
can't be customized? Okay, it can't be customized.
Company-wide policies for holding fees and all that stuff.
Well, why is anybody doing a holding fee?
We
So
always
it's
get them.
on the
It was
website.
already there, and you don't need to brokerage, you need to broker, so I just didn't touch it.
I mean,
You know, I have it because a lot of my people do, so, you know, not everybody knows your business style.
when
they do
I
theirs.
get a holding fee for the entire security deposit, and I make them sign something, they say that if they change their minds, they forfeit it.
You're fine. But not everybody does the same thing you do.
I want their money.
The language in there does have a holding fee being forfeited.
Yeah.
If they've been approved, then you don't.
Mhm.
Then don't take.
All right, so one of the other things I will check into is I can make the Zelle account a trust account. And that's something we were talking, but then I can't use it for other things.
Need more than one Zelle?
No,
Why?
because my bank is complicated.
Okay.
Because that, the Zelle account currently is under my personal name because they do not have a Zelle business account. So now, if they will now downstairs have created that, they're saying they're gonna do it, they can do that. I've heard.
We will look into that.
Yeah, I'll.
Anything else?
Yeah. All right.
Could we set up a Venmo account for that?
Can someone please hit Karen?
My
Uh,
grandkids are here and they're doing a good job of doing that on their
Why
own.
would we
Yeah, wait, a
want
minute.
a
Tell your
Venmo?
grandkids to give you a double slap for bringing up Venmo.
Why would we want a Venmo account?
Well, you want a Zelle account. Some people
I
like
don't want
Venmo. or-
one.
Okay.
And I actually think we have a Venmo account. But I have to check into it because I think that might have been with Wells Fargo, not downstairs. And I may not have created one when I created Zelle downstairs.
Would
So
you
I will
prefer
check
wire
into it.
transfer?
Huh?
Would you prefer wire?
Wire transfer is considered by funds.
So wire.
But wire transfer into where?
Security
I can
deposit,
do it
first
as a
security
security
deposit.
deposit. I can do it in rental trust.
Well, I just told her they couldn't wire transfer into the security deposit. account.
H8, what do you
It's
call
for
it?
tenants on state. I'm trying to figure
Well,
out.
not, what I'm saying, H, what do you call it? Let's say a wire account,
ACH.
ACH. You can ACH into any account and it's safe.
I know that.
So I
Why do
can
you want
have
them
them
to
direct-
ACH in?
Because they don't have, for some reason, we don't want to wait. The only problem with ACH, good thing said about, is it's a 24-hour before it gets credited to the account.
Right.
So what's the difference between that or FedExing? Cheaper to FedEx than to a certified check than to,
Not necessarily, some people get free wires.
okay.
But.
Yeah, but on our end, there's a fee for a wire.
Is it?
There is, but I have enough money going to my accounts this way.
Okay.
Most of the time, you guys haven't hit max yet, please. I know you all trying, but it's 2 days late with your numbers, but okay. But I'm saying, that is a possibility, I mean, ACHing into the
Well, you're the representative.
rental trust and into the security trust are capabilities.
So my owner could make a deposit into my trust account.
Yes. And if you
I
need the
told him he
information,
wasn't allowed
just
to
get it.
do that.
Why? Would this be mean?
No. I just said no, send it by FedEx.
But
Send me certified
Lori can
funds.
give you the instruction, you can do it.
I know how to do it.
Okay, you have the other, but we can do it right online.
So we have permission to just
Yeah.
going forward if we need wiring instructions.
I just give them the routing number and the account number.
Or for.
There is the
for
split
certified
number or something
computer
else has to go with the
Yeah, but the
ACH.
You have
routing number
permission
will
for
work.
and wiring instructions
That
for
issue,
that.
just saying.
Have you? Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like you just said. Mhm.
Yeah.
So I now have that, can we circle back to the eviction?
Sure, we're circling back to the eviction.
And I'll use my theater voice. NV NARCO Call to Action Eviction Diversion Program. The Las Vegas Justice Court is attempting to change its local rules of practice to implement an eviction diversion program. These proposed rule changes, ADKT 602603, have been submitted to the Nevada Supreme Court for approval. If approved and implemented, these proposed rule changes will alter the summary eviction process and further delay and even prevent the issuance of valid eviction orders as required by existing law. For example, these proposed rule changes impose a mandatory mediation requirement, modify existing deadlines by which the court must act on motions and order issuance, and grant the court unchecked and undefined discretion as to which cases are routed into the eviction diversion program. If approved and implemented, these proposed rules changes will substantially and negatively impact the financial and day-to-day operations of rental housing providers in Las Vegas. So the Nevada State Apartment Association opposes approval and implementation of these proposed rule changes for many reasons, most notably the following. The courts do not have the authority to modify existing law. The courts have an obligation to be fair, impartial, and unbiased. Rental housing providers were denied input and equal consideration of their rights. I'll forward, there is a petition. I will forward it to Matt to make sure he can forward to property managers, I suppose.
Yep.
And then hopefully that link still works in it, but.
So let's wrap this up all about this. What it is you need to be aware and you need to inform your owners that they're trying to change the rules to where they can drag out evictions forever.
Who is they?
They are who is it? What do they call themselves?
Well, there's culinary union, there's other
Yeah.
people behind it, but they're,
Other
it's tenant,
coalitions.
tenant rights advocates are trying to make us California.
Right.
Those gosh darn California. people.
No, but I mean, the whole thing.
And so it's one of those things where the courts can indiscriminately decide this one goes to that.
Yeah,
Okay,
It sucks.
well, I would be challenged immediately.
yeah, well, that's what we're doing now. We don't even want to get that far where it gets changed, because first of all, they don't have the right to change the law without going through
Okay.
the Senate,
And,
Congress.
and
to
so
go
we're
through the
signing a
process.
petition, and whose petition are we signing? Who's,
It's NARCOM, which is the National.
National Association of Residential Property Managers.
and have they actually tried to get LVR involved? And
LPR doesn't play nice with NARCOM.
I know that, but I mean, I gotta give fault on both sides.
I agree. But have they? I don't know, because I'm not on that committee.
Well, I'm on the board of directors for the commercial division, and we have the head of the apartment association sitting on our board.
She's very nice. I could still.
Who,
That changes.
to go to Deidre's point, who, because obviously I am a Nevada state trustee. And I know that there's a disconnect between NARPM and LVR and NVR, and we're all supposed to be speaking in one voice. So my question is who with NVR or LVR and who with NARPM is actually in charge of communicating with one another to make sure that we are on one page, because I feel like there's a huge disconnect and nobody who knows who those people are.
I agree.
The person you're asking would be, at the present moment, would be Paul Rich. Did I get the order, or Rich Paul? Paul Rich.
Paul
Paul
Rich.
Rich.
Paul
But
Rich.
it-
And Andy, help me with the last name.
Stevenson?
Stevenson. Because Andy Stevenson is the chair for political, I call it a people. And what's his name is the current
President
president.
of NARPM.
Right, but that's all gonna change. Well, Andy, I think is.
Changes January 1st.
Right, I don't know who the president coming in is. Do we know?
Or
For NARPM?
it's Crystal
Oh, Crystal Sherry.
for Nevada.
Yeah,
Okay, and then who is at LVR?
LVR, oh, that's your area, I don't know.
So Krista is in charge of the property management committee,
Right,
and who do we need to get to?
Okay, so there are people that were on legislative, like Joshua Campa,
Yeah, but
and there are people who there was an attempt several times made to address things that were happening. But what happened, I don't know that these people got reappointed to the legislative committee. I don't know who's on it. I'm not privy to
me
that
for
information.
LVR,
For LVR.
right.
So.
yeah, but
so
that's not who we need to
now-
get to. We need to get lower than that. We need to start at the beginning. We don't, and Keith Lynamus, who's the cog in the wheel.
Yep.
Right, because he's the one that quoted, that he had a meeting with NARPM, which was a luncheon, which they didn't discuss anything, but had lunch. And then he said that, NARPM was all on board when they hadn't even agreed to anything.
Okay,
I'm gonna call Teresa McKee after this meeting, only because of conversations that were held at the trustee meeting. So I can be on the same page, and then I can let other people know who's supposed to be communicating with who, because I feel like there is a huge disconnect.
absolutely. And it needs to be resolved. And we've got big egos in the way.
Well,
And I love Crystal, but she's the wrong one to be in that spot.
Hmm.
part of.
Because she's pissed LVR off so many times, they'll never talk to her again.
But is that the right way for LVR to act?
Yeah, I was
isn't,
just gonna
But we're
say.
not gonna make them better, and we're not gonna make us better unless we step back from our, get our egos out of the way where it sense.
On both sides.
Well,
That's
so
right.
one of my questions or concerns is with the towns that
LVR is the
actually,
800-pound gorilla.
Realists that are 800 pounds can fall too. So, okay, this is again about Go Global, not about LVR and NARPM. And we can have this discussion forever, and I know Armina's sitting there saying, thank God Michael's moving on. So, referral fees. All referral fees, commissions, anything you want to call it, has to go through Go Global. And I don't care if you're the owner of the property as well, and you put it on as a courtesy listing on the MLS, it has to go through Go Global. You cannot write a check out directly to the other brokerage. I know where that makes sense in your mind, but unfortunately, it doesn't make sense in the rules. So all courtesy listings, all referral fees, even if it's to your spouse, has to go through Go Global.
Michael,
Yeah,
let's just for a second touch on things. When you,
you're going in and out, Armina.
Mhm.
seriously,
Yeah, seriously, I wouldn't say it unless you were having a problem. I see your mouth moving, it's nothing coming out, which is unusual.
can you hear me now?
Mhm.
Yes.
So courtesy listings. You must have the referral fee and whatever fee you are getting as the agent in-house made out to Go Global Realty before you go live with your listing. And that's been a policy from day one, but people forget it. And then we have a placement and an agent looking for a check and we don't know where the money is because it was never sent. So please make sure that everything is in-house so that if it takes one day to find a client, Lori knows who to make the check to. And the other thing is that you need to notify, if you lease it yourself, you need to make sure that the L status in the MLS gets to Lori so she knows who to pay.
And if you're waiving your fee or whatever, thing, we need to know that so we can send the money back to the owner.
Right.
We have lots of different things, so please follow its simple rules. We have a checklist for, courtesy listings and all that stuff. Please follow the checklist. It's very easy. Second of all, you need to, no matter if it's expired, if it's withdrawn, if you did the courtesy listing for a rental yourself and you aren't taking a fee, but I still have to have, even if you're not taking a fee, I need to have something in the system to show that that's what's going on. And then those files have to be completed and archived. Okay? Just because it expired doesn't mean you don't have to worry about it. You still have to finish the paperwork because Matt's getting tired of combing through and doing your work for you. He doesn't get paid to do that. And I'm going to start charging you guys when I have to make him do your work.
Now, that being said, because you're property managers, you're in a different category than the other agents. So it happens more often with the general agents. So
True.
thank you for listening and following the rules. So it's not an attack just against you guys.
No, yeah, please don't. We're going to make a separate one. You're going to get this twice. You're going to get when I do it to all the agents. Okay. Matt, Mr. Zillow.
Oh, I know some people had sent me messages, because Zillow had sent them messages about, the rental listings getting syndicated. I just wanted to let everyone know we filled out, what Go Global needed to do. So now any, rentals that you guys put into the MLS will all get syndicated out to Zillow.
Boo-hoo, mom, didn't want to do it, but unfortunately, that's the way business is.
Well, it saves $29.
Yeah.
But it also, don't bite your nose off, spite your face.
Right.
Now, we work for the owners. We try to do the best we can for them.
I have one owner that's always like, I don't see it on Zillow. I don't see it on Zillow. And then it's on Zillow. Oh, it's on Zillow. She's so happy.
Mhm.
All right, is that it on Zillow?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 7 is check your ovens. This is Armina's favorite thing, because this is when she started working for me the first year. She got so many phone calls going about my oven doesn't work on the day before Thanksgiving. That's when they first turn on their ovens. I got the whole family coming and this is an emergency. I said, well, we'll get it fixed on next Monday. They're, no, but please make sure you send out a notice to your tenants. I usually send it out on last Friday because I want to try it over the weekend, and that way I get someone out there to
But
record
today's
it.
good enough.
Well,
Send
try
it
to.
today.
So tell them to, check your ovens. The second thing is PVB valves. Guess what, guys?
It's getting cold.
I'm in a sweater, and I love winter. Somebody's coming up there.
Yeah, no, I'm sharing the screen.
Oh, okay, sorry, Matt's sharing the screen, okay. And he was working on something earlier, so that's why that's coming.
So just in case
There
you
you go.
guys
That's
don't
what a
know,
PVB valve looks like.
this one here.
Yeah, that one there, he's circling with his little mouse, okay? And that, like you see the other one over there, next to it, where it's wrapped and insulated. I don't know why they don't do it. They should wrap and insulate both pipes. So show them the other picture.
So there's a couple options that you can go with. This is a more expensive, but probably not as good,
It's
like a
not.
plastic bucket that goes over it. This one is probably better and it's cheaper,
Bags, yeah, like-
$30. This is an insulated bag to keep it
They're
warm
for the,
from breaking.
For the sprinkler system.
Yeah.
I like it when they blow out.
Why? And then put the water in.
I got a call. I got a call with a-
Just to bring up thing, Matt, put your cursor around that, go down, go down, go down. You see that hole there? That's there so you can put a lock on it, because when I did my first year, I went out and bought these and went put them on all my listings, being, oh, this year I'm not gonna have so many PVB valve blow out and stuff. And all of a sudden they were gone. And because people saw, oh, wow, there's one, they take it, put it on their house. Welcome to
Plus, they
Vegas.
take whole circulating pumps off of
Thank you.
water heaters. I know.
So, that's what that there is, so you can put on a bicycle lock on it so that they can't take it. But by the way, if you do that, please give the key to the tenant, because they need to take that off if landscaper or plumber needs to have access to that valve. The other way, the cheapest way is you wrap towels around it. Go back to the original picture. Wrapping towels, like they wrap that like there. You don't have to make it that tight. You just take a couple of old towels and wrap it around the other thing and do a little duct tape. That will do it as well, to hold it over for the few days that we have below 32 degrees.
But on all the pipes, which is.
No, all those pipes, exposed pipes.
The exposed pipes.
Yeah.
I think you need to do it under all your sinks too.
Right, that's another thing I'm doing. And by the way, what's that thing that you do in your car? The car liners like I have in mine? I forget what the name of it.
WeatherTech?
WeatherTech now has a thing that can go underneath their sink.
That's a great idea.
So it protects it from when water damage happens.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, except they should have done it with a little back tire splash, because you know there's when water,
Yeah.
drips and splashes. So I'm just reminding you guys, there's YouTube videos. Matt's gonna put links into them. When we send this out to you all, for you to send to your clients to say, hey, this is what you need to do. The other one is about GFIs, because how many times I get a phone call about my blow dryer won't work, but the lights are still on, so I don't know what's going on. I checked the circuit breaker. They don't know what a GFI is. They don't understand the GFI, especially in America West homes, are in the garage or the bathroom. And the reason they do that is to make sure you're away from the electricity when you hit the reset button, so you don't shock yourself again. So that's just so you guys know, these are things that you need to let your tenants know, and it's just good, tenant
Just
management.
threaten them.
Huh?
If it's a GFCI plug, you're paying for the service call.
Yeah, which is what now? What is it nowadays, $80?
No, well, for me and my handyman, it's like $40, but doesn't make any difference.
Well, I'm just saying average service call for you, you get a good deal. That brings me up that thing too. Wrote that up. You need to all put your purveyors in AppFolio with a copy of their business license, copy of their,
Insurance certificate.
right, what am I missing? Just one third thing, is that everything? Business license, certificate. And insurance. Sorry?
W9, so they
Oh,
can get
W.
paid.
All right, if you do not want any other person to contact your vendor, please put a note in there. You know, mine only or whatever, if you're gonna be that possessive. All right? And that way, we don't have the problem which happened earlier when someone reached out to all of the vendors.
I'm sorry.
No, I didn't blame you, I didn't throw you under the bus, I was going
Okay.
to, but that's all right. But that's just so that, but again, we're supposed to have that, so if the division came in and said to me, looked at our vendors list, that I have proof that these are all licensed, insured, vendors. W9 is not for the division, that's for the, IRS. All right, anything else, man?
I guess just, this is gonna be something that's gonna go out to all of the agents at some point anyway. But per the real estate division, any forms that you are putting your name on, it has to be exactly what it says on your real estate license. So if you have a nickname that you are using, you have to put your actual legal name. Whatever it says on your real estate license is basically what's supposed to be on, for example, the duty zone. So,
Okay.
One thing on signing, as a property manager, do you advise that we sign, property manager when we sign everything? Because that was something I know you're gonna.
I didn't know
the reason that I do that, and the reason I have everybody that signs for anything sign with their title, is because I had, Service Pro come out and take care of a, leak in a condo from upstairs to downstairs, and I had the downstairs unit, Service Pro came out and, cleaned up the water. And my assistant went out, my non-licensed assistant went out to meet Service Pro love me.
Mhm.
And so when they were done, she was there, she signed the thing as her name. When the insurance company paid Service Pro, they did not pay them the entire bill. And since she signed it, they put her in collections. And so when I went to Service Pro and I said, she's just an employee.
Yeah.
She's not responsible for this bill. She doesn't own this property. They said, well, if she signed it. And I said, if she had put down Teresa Hazel, assistant, would you have been suing her? They said, no, we would have sued the company.
Right.
So from then on, I just made everybody put their title down because it was just easier than fighting with Service Pro. Or any other vendor that might be sizable like them, who has attorneys that will just pound you to death, because it took us forever to get that off her credit report.
And
And they didn't have her social, but it still ended up on her credit report.
Well, it
So
brings
it's
up
like
first point,
$3,000.
be careful what you sign and make sure you read what you sign. Because you could be signing something that does bind the company when it shouldn't, and vice versa. So, but I will look into that with signing with that.
Yeah, and she understood that she was just signing that they were complete.
They were there, or whatever.
Yeah, they were there and they were complete with the work and everybody was gonna go home.
Yeah.
That's what she thought she was doing. She
And I
didn't think
understand.
she was binding herself to pay them the $3,000 that State Farm didn't pay them.
Right.
Right. And I had a restoration, it was like totaled like 35,000, and they kept on sending invoicing to Go Global Realty Nurse Kate, and I'm like, this is the owner's unit, this is not my unit. You know?
Right.
Getting them to change everything on the invoice.
Right.
is a pain in the
They don't
ass.
All right, I wanna go back to one, I'm gonna wing this one because Lori's not here, hopefully Armina will help me. And Matt, we're gonna talk about reserves. So when you take reserves for a client, a house, say that you take, and this is just a for instance, you all can have different ones, whatever your safety or comfort level is. But we'll say you take $1,000 in reserves, isn't that what a hot water heater was nowadays?
No,
Maybe
1260.
Huh?
1260 for some reason.
1260 for a hot water heater, so that's what I normally reserve for, to make sure I have it in there and get it. And now all of a sudden there's a flood and the repairs are gonna be $3,000. So 1260 is all that is in the reserve. So you ask the owner to send money to cover the rest of the repairs, but it's gonna be over a billing cycle. So you have to up your reserves, put that money in reserves to hold it, because you're holding it over the 30-day point. What you have to do though is once you paid out those bills, before the next billing cycle is lower your reserves back down to 500 for the system, which you don't use, so don't worry about it. The system would take back from the rent, the money to bring it back up to the $3,000 in reserves. You can't just let it float there and be less than $3,000. Every time that the system updates to pay out the owners and stuff, it goes in and refills the reserves first, then pays the owner.
Gotcha.
So if
Okay.
you need to, just remind yourself to lower your reserves, and if it's not all of it, you lower it to what you need it to be to go through that billing cycle.
Got it. And then after,
Right, then you can back
after
it.
it's paid out.
Yeah, I mean,
Do
you
you
can
have to have
move the
something in
reserve.
writing from the owner to do that?
Huh?
Do you have to have something in writing from the owner to do that?
No. You
Is
have
that-
to have something in writing you have to have something in writing the very first one. Please raise my reserves to.
That's right.
Then what you would, I would say is, and Matt, write a note down there, we maybe make it a form of a thing. with
I think
just-
you can add it to the management agreement, says in the case of extraordinary expense, that the reserves may be increased to the amount of the
decreased.
extraordinary
Yeah,
expense.
I like that. That way it's out of the way, we don't have to do it every
So
time.
now
Should add that to every
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah. So, write that down, one of you, and we'll get that addressed, put that in there.
That is, I'll forget it by tomorrow.
I
In
know,
In the
tomorrow I'll
event-
forget about it.
In the event
Say
of extraordinary expense,
Occurs.
the amount of,
Yeah,
then the
reserves
actual
will
amount
be-
of that extraordinary, extraordinary expense.
okay.
Or
So
what
when
are
are
you
you gonna
gonna
go
call it?
take your bar exam?
I'm not gonna go take my bar exam, I'm telling you, the lawyers are nuts.
You read a bunch of them.
I would deal with a lot of them, yeah. They're not any smarter than we are, they just think.
Licenses.
Huh?
I said, I have a lot of them have their licenses with them. But, all right, is there any questions from everybody out there?
Well, just one thing that came up.
What?
So in Appfolio, if you do manage to like buy or get a bunch of properties transferred to you, there's a little hiccup in the system that we discovered that we'd like to just take our experience and prevent you from having a nightmare of accounting.
You're running their fund.
So your management agreement with the transfer, if you're writing new management agreements with the owners, will have amounts delineated out for the leasing fee, for all sorts of expenses per how you charge. If you enter that into Appfolio, it will consider it a charge to the owner immediately, even though your tenants are already in there. You've gotten properties with tenants. So what you have to do is enter all those fees that you will not be charging the owner because it already has a tenant, it already has been leased as a zero, or Andrew found another way.
No, you have to, so to clarify, if you move a tenant into Appfolio, it will charge a leasing fee regardless of if that tenant was already in place
Pre-existing.
before you got them, right? Like when you get them from another property manager or whatever the case may be, or you get it from an owner that already has a tenant in place, so on and so forth. It will automatically charge that leasing fee on the posted date of whatever their initial move-in date was. So you can either make the leasing fees when you enter them into the system zero, or you can go into the accounting report and reverse those charges after they've been applied. There is not an option to turn it off or to not charge that leasing fee.
That's why Appfolio
Which is-
sucks.
I've called Appfolio and complained that that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, but
You don't want it showing up on the statement. as a-
Right, and that's what I was about to bring up is
So I'd
doing
like
the
zero
balancing thing with a lot of my agents. They don't want, the owners don't like to see charges and credits.
Right.
It bothers them.
Right.
So the other way is putting in zero, which doesn't charge, get the person moved in,
And
get
then when
everything, go
you
back
put-
in and edit.
Right, just make a note that when you're gonna release the property, and you move out that tenant, with that you go back to the property management.
Do you have to wait that long, Andrew? You can't do it
it's right after you move it.
right after you move the system.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
that's great.
once the tenant's in the system, the
Then it won't
automatic
charge.
charges won't apply.
Okay, perfect,
That, it's just a process of,
okay,
how to do it.
perfect. I hope
Because you
don't mind
normally,
sharing
no,
that.
no, actually, it's good. But I mean, the thing is, the problem is, go ahead, someone.
Someone trying to talk?
Okay. Nope, Armina's just going like, no, don't care.
And Karen? Are you there?
Yeah, she's in the bottom.
I'm here, but I don't have anything to say.
I just wanted to say that I'm gonna have a NARPA Nevada meeting. I will find out if there is communication, who those point people are for you and text you that, okay?
Yeah, I'm still gonna call Teresa anyhow for clarification.
Say hello to her.
I
Great.
will.
Okay. And say hello to your grandkids. Hopefully they're wearing you out.
They are wearing me out. That's why I'm not on camera.
So, all right, anything else, anybody? All right, well, thank you so much for joining us on our meeting and look forward to the edited version coming out. We'll have to edit to get some space.
Yeah.
And that's it. Matt, go ahead and record.
Bye.
Thank you guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Camille, that baby's cute.
Oh my gosh,
Baby's
it's so
cute.
bad. That's why I had to
Your
take the
baby's
camera
cute.
off. It's too much.
Grandchildren's babies are cute.